Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be listening to Hi, It's Me, Eve, talk about her experience with natural hair versus her wearing a wig. Please go and watch her full video. She's really funny too, and I enjoyed watching it.
I'd heard comments before from my mom, and even a random lady at work once told me that I should do something with my hair to make it more presentable for the workplace. Combine all of that with years of religiously perming my hair to fit with the girls at my predominantly white school, and then yeah, it all adds up. And on that day at the Home Depot, something in me switched. I became hyper aware of how my hair, and by extension how I was being perceived, and as a result, my confidence was just never the same. No matter how much curling custard I tried to use to define my curls, it was never gonna give 3C. So I started just to hide my hair behind protective styles like mini twist or Nara Smith braids. These styles protected more of my mental health than they ever did my actual hair. They became my shield, a way to guard my mind against the negative emotions I had about my natural hair.
This is something that is unfortunate that Black women have to deal with, having people make comments about how they think their hair is not done, especially when it is in its natural state. I think this is one of the reasons why so many Black women feel the need to always do certain styles. It is to seem presentable by other people's standards. We see women constantly changing hairstyles, getting braids, wigs, straightening their hair all the time. Some of them do this because of having people around them constantly telling them their hair is not done when they have their natural hair out. I will also say this may especially happen with women who have short coily hair, and since they may not feel confident to wear it as it is or feel like their hair is at an awkward length, then they will get braids a lot of the times and say no, it's just a protective style, but really they are feeling a bit insecure about their hair. However, I will say that for some people, someone might be saying to you that your hair is not done, not because they do not think natural hair is presentable, but it could be the way you have styled your hair. Some people simply do not know how to style their natural hair, and therefore it may not look the best when you go out in public and you assume people are criticizing your texture, but may just actually be criticizing how you decide to style it, or at least your attempt at styling it. This reminds me of the news reporter who was facing backlash because of how her hair looked on TV. Some people were saying that she's getting backlash because of her hair texture, and others disagreed with those comments and said it is because of how she styled it. I have to agree with those who said it was the styling. Her hair looks like it is the same length as mine, about neck length if I'm not mistaken, but if I decided to have my hair out and not up in a puff or in mini braids or twists or headscarf, I do a twist out, and because I know my hair at the front is at an awkward length and when it shrinks it obviously gets shorter, I will grab the front parts and then hold them back with bobby pins, and so the back of my hair is in a twist out or braid out and the front is sort of flat twisted and held back with bobby pins, and my hair will not stick out awkwardly. And to add to this, I would say that by handling our natural hair more often than just relying on braids with hair extensions or wigs, we can actually get to learn more about how our hair looks, feels, and acts when we are trying out different styles. And we also learn how long those styles will last when we are out and about, or how they will look with certain weather. So for instance, when it is humid, I know that my hair will definitely shrink a lot, and so if I'm planning on wearing it out, I know how to style it based on how much shrinkage I will get. If I'm not concerned about shrinkage, I will simply just wear an afro and let it shrink. If it is less humid or colder weather, I know my styles will last longer, and so I will do twist outs and an afro puff. The point is, instead of just accepting whatever is being said to us that is negative, or relying on added hair to style our hair, we should be trying to understand our hair and how it responds to the environment we live in during certain periods, the products we use and how to use them, which natural hairstyles suit us best at different stages of our hair's length as well. And one final point I want to bring up for this part is that we also need to understand what done means for natural hair. it seems as though some people still do not understand what their hair actually looks like and feels like. And I'm not talking about this creator in particular, I'm just speaking in a general sense. What I mean by this is that coily hair will not be shiny in some cases, it will not curl a certain way, it will not feel as soft as certain textures, but that does not mean it is not done. So for the next 3 seconds, I will show you what our version of done should be, or in my opinion, what our version of done should be. A lot of naturals need to understand is, of course, our hair will never look done if we try to use other people's standards of what done means.
Because let me tell y'all about how I pulled out my own 24-inch bust down and I became Employee of the Month.
Witchcraft and wiggatry.
I'm not even exaggerating when I say that I've been getting compliments from every single department. Like, why are they so obsessed with me? This, my friend, is what you call hair theory. The idea that a person's hairstyle can change not just how they feel about themselves, but also how other people perceive them. I used to rock a cute little headscarf during my awkward 2-week period between my braids, but after a while, I started just to feel a bit uncomfortable, wearing it in a very conservative, very corporate environment. So I decided to invest in some high quality wigs. Walking around with my 24-inch bust down, I was no longer just me anymore. I was elevated, a hyper visible version of myself in a good way. Hair theory does not stop at the office, okay? It spills over into every aspect of our lives, especially dating.
I agree with her that different hairstyles will get you different reactions, and so obviously depending on the type of reaction you want, you will assimilate. You want to be accepted as part of that group. But my question, not just for her, but for other women who have done this too, who have felt the need to look quote-unquote attractive and their first instinct is to get that bust down or straight hair wig. Why not get a textured wig? I love the wig she has on now. It looks more natural. When I watched the video, I genuinely thought that was her hair and was pleasantly surprised when she showed her natural hair, her afro, which was also beautiful. I think that once we make textured wigs our go-to if we want to achieve a different look from what we normally go for, or if we want something to switch up our looks, others would be more welcoming to our natural hair, our texture, because we present ourselves in public with our texture. What do you think goes on in other people's minds when we say, oh, I'm going to an event, let me switch my natural hair for a wig. I want to feel glamorous or look done, let me pull out my 26-inch lace front, whatever you call it. I'm not very good with these. Obviously, I do not think we should care what others have to say about our coily hair, but what the point I'm trying to make you understand is the more you continue to cover your hair when you want to present yourself a certain way, the more this ideology that natural hair is unkempt or not good for certain spaces will continue to be upheld. Because to those people, we agree with them when we do this. We agree with that ideology when we wear wigs that do not resemble our hair texture to special events.
I am fortunate to say that no one has ever directly told me my hair was ugly, right? But it was always something that lurked in the back of my mind. There's this unspoken but spoken standard of what good hair is supposed to look like.
It's interesting that she says no one has said to her face that her hair is ugly, but in the back of her mind, there is that idea of what people think of her because of the texturism that exists in this world. And I say this is interesting because even if nobody has said anything to her, she still feels uncomfortable with her hair in certain places. And I understand what she's saying. It's a thing that quite a lot of us experience, even if it's not related to natural hair. I'll use myself as an example. There's certain times where I will go shopping and I will like an outfit and then I'll buy the outfit. But then when it's time for me to wear the outfit, I might feel a bit, oh, what if someone says, oh, it doesn't fit her correctly, or it doesn't look that good, or whatnot. I'll come up with all these scenarios in my head of what someone else might be thinking. I start thinking for them before they actually form their own thoughts, before they've actually seen me. And in some instances, we might be right when we have these thoughts about certain things, but at the same time, we also might be surprised that people aren't actually thinking about us in a negative way or in any way. It's very important for naturals to understand that when we go outside with our natural hair, not everyone is looking at us like that. We need to get out of that mindset, thinking that everyone is staring at you, everyone is looking at you, everybody has judgments about how you look and all of that. Sometimes we're overthinking, and that's the reality that some naturals need to get, is that sometimes we are overthinking. And even if there are people who do not like the way your hair looks or the way that outfit looks and whatnot, who cares? What matters to them what we look like? Because if we constantly think about what others will say, we won't really get anywhere in life. We won't really enjoy life. You will never wear that outfit that you really like and thought looked cute. You will never embrace your natural hair because you're so concerned about what people outside will say about you. And this is the reality that we live in. Everyone, not just natural hair people, not just everyone in the world. Not everyone is going to like the way that you look. Not everyone is going to be accepting of the way that you look. And the sooner we realize that, the easier life becomes, and we shouldn't try to be accepted by everyone. It is impossible for that to happen, and so we should try and just be content with who we are, how we look, and we should try to have our own standards individually. I would say that should apply also in the natural hair community. We've seen certain people hold certain standards for natural hair, what natural hair should look like. Some people think that natural hair should be able to, curl in a certain type of way. Some people think that your hair should be a certain length in order for it to be beautiful. So at the end of the day, it's impossible for you to be accepted by everyone in the world. And we shouldn't try to fit into those certain standards, because once you do, it's going to be very exhausting for you to keep up with those standards because they do not come naturally to you. The reason why their beauty standards are so prevalent in today's society is because we continue to uphold those standards. People keep trying to get straight hair, people keep trying to do this and that in order to fit those standards, instead of challenging those standards and forming their own. Those standards will always be there unless we decide that enough is enough. We will have our own standards as Black people. So I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you're feeling generous, subscribe. And to those who've already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. 1,000 subscribers is amazing. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much.